One.
Finger of the lens.
Thank you for coming today. This presentation is part of my TAFE course that I'm currently doing, and it's on your safety at work and what you can do to stay safe at work. And I'm presenting it towards students, because in the next few years you'll all be moving into the workforce, hopefully. Some of you may already have part-time jobs. Anyone part-time work? Casual work? Did any work in the holidays?
Some good.
You did? Yeah. Good. So this presentation will take up about 10 minutes, so not too long. Now, work health and safety. Everyone's familiar with safety. For most of your life, your parents have been telling you to do things safely. Don't go sticking forks into the PowerPoint. Look both directions when you cross the road. Things like that. And then you've moved into high school, and one of the first things you do before you do any science prac works, metalwork, woodwork, cooking, you've done safety lessons before you start. When you move into the workforce, safety is also another issue that you'll be going through in the workforce. Now, like I said, it's nothing new. Since the dawn of time, accidents happen. Here we have our cavemen Ben and Adam playing with their hula hoop, and they've dropped the hula hoop on their toes, and that has led to the development of steel cap toe boots. And work health and safety has also developed and evolved over the years. And like I said, it's nothing new. And the reason why I want to present it to you guys, your age group, is because of some some statistics that have come out. And every couple of years they do gather a lot of statistics. And in 2016, there were 14 workers under the age of 25 that died on doing their job. And there were 3,580 young workers under the age of 20 that had sustained serious injuries. And in the age group 20 to 24 years of age, there were 9,695 serious injuries. And when we say serious injuries, we mean maybe a loss of eyes, loss of hearing, loss of a limb, spinal injury, back injuries, neck injuries, things that can affect you for the rest of your life. So everyone at work, no matter who you are, whether you're a manager, a supervisor, a student, a visitor, a contractor, an office worker, a casual worker, a part-time worker, everyone shares a part in workplace health and safety. And there's some acts and laws, regulations that have been set up to make sure that everyone abides by the health and safety legislation that's out there. So what's your responsibilities as possibly employees? Under the legislation, it says that you as a worker must comply so far as the person is reasonably able with any reasonable instruction that is given by your manager or your boss to help them comply with the work health and safety legislation. Now the words there, reasonable instruction, are important. Because if you're on a job site and you've maybe forgotten your safety goggles and your boss says, go stick a bag on your head, it's not a reasonable safety instruction. So under all the legislation, there are, and most of your workplaces should have what's called a standard work practice or standard work procedures, or they might also be called standard operating procedures, or they also can be known as job safety analysis. There is slight technical differences between these documents, but essentially it's like you do at work, at school. I've had a couple of you just hand in a science experiment, and in that I noticed, third page in, you've done a safety analysis of the experiment that you're running. Like these are also just short documents that detail what safety hazards are involved in the job that you're doing. Okay, so there should be always, when you go to work, there should be always some set of reasonable instructions out there for you to follow. There'll also be signs around you, so they should also have some reasonable instructions on this. So when you're in the workplace, pay attention to the signs that are around you. And if you're ever unsure about anything with safety, you can ask your supervisor or your boss or whoever your manager is. Now, other things that you can do to stay safe at work, if you're working with any special equipment, like with me we have, this might be Aaron, and he's performing a bit of an operation now on Courtney, and he's got the laser thing, and he's zapped Courtney's forehead off. So if you're using any equipment, you might need some extra safety training with that equipment. So this is things that just for you to look out for. You might have to wear some personal protective equipment, some goggles, earmuffs, a helmet, what shoes you're going to be wearing on your feet. Any of these, by understanding all of these safety procedures that are around you in the job that you're doing, that'll help make you a more efficient and better worker. Alright, so I've sort of discussed, I've been discussing what your responsibilities are. Now, as most bosses also have responsibilities in the workplace, and they have to be able to communicate with their staff. And this comes back to giving reasonable instructions. I've just got a little video here that I'll get you to watch, and it's more or less what isn't reasonable. If you go into a workplace and this is your first safety introduction, I think you'll agree that you're going to be totally lost. Just get this going. Skip that in a second.
Morning everyone, welcome to Glen Park Hospital. I'm your Occupational Safety Officer, and they've asked me to kick off your induction training by giving you a short talk about safety. Now, I want you to pay particular attention to the safety rules because we have an excellent record of health and safety here. In the last 2 years, we have managed to lower LTIFRs, and we certainly want to keep it that way. So, Anton, Carlos, when your supervisor tells you wear your PPEs, make sure you wear them, especially the earmuffs if you're driving the L4000 polisher. Okay, because that's got a noise level of about 90 dBA, and I think you'll agree that's pretty rowdy. Now, if you have to use any chemicals in the place, cleaning agents and so on, make sure you read the appropriate MSDS form thoroughly before you decant them. Now, you'll find one in the HasChem storehouse behind lower level 9. Now, Megan, I believe you'll be spending a lot of time in front of the BDU accounts. Make sure you take 5 every hour or so, because we don't want any RSI complaints, okay? Now, all of you will be lifting boxes and other equipment during your stay here. I want you to remember to use your legs and not your backs when you're lifting. And if something looks too heavy, ask for help. There are no prizes for heroes around here. And it goes for you nurses too. When lifting patients, use the sling. That's what we bought it for. Now finally, all of you, please, no horseplay, no skylarking around. Now I usually have to tell that to the younger blokes, and you do look like a slightly more sensible lot. So, I hope you enjoy your stay at Bay Park, and remember, if there's any queries about OH&S, my door's always open. I'm on 7B, or you can check with your HSR for your DWG. And remember, safety is everyone's baby.
So a lot of them were just sitting there rolling their eyes. Didn't have a clue what he was talking about, all the jargon. Okay, so if you end up in a safety talk like that, you don't have to just sit there. You can, let's get rid of Sue, you don't need Sue up there.
She wants to join.
Alright, so take home messages. You start a new job, you'll familiarise yourself with the new tasks that you have to do. Also, just think about safety, okay? You can ask where the safe work practices are, safe work procedures are, where they're located. You can ask your manager, and then you can review them in your own time. And if you're unclear about anything that they've said to you, just ask, okay? And that way, hopefully everyone can stay a bit safer in their workplace. Any questions?
Just point something out.
Point something out?
your YouTube video was referencing jargon, that you've used jargon in your second bullet point.
What? Second bullet point.
Yeah, on that previous slide.
Yes, I know, but I actually said it, and I
Yeah,
gave an
that's
explanation.
Well, you should actually put what it is and then in brackets SWP.
Yes, I should.
I have a question.
Yeah.
But she said what it was.
She asked for
No,
Oh,
good
it's fine.
point, good point.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I have a question. Why is Mr. Wilson such a tool?
Why is it cool? Because he's pays attention to detail.
That's right.
Okay, I've got a question for you, paying attention to detail. Who can remember what the two names of the staff were in the video clip?
Carl
Close, yeah.
I don't know, I couldn't hear it.
Alright, thank you everyone for coming. I just have to list the resources. There's a couple other videos there. If ever you need help. Yeah.
If they go into the workforce and they found this guy, this type of guy explaining at the first day, what department they have to go and ask for?
Essentially, they should go to whoever their supervisor is and their manager
There is
first up and deal with them. And then if their issue isn't resolved, you'll have to find out who the next person in charge is to go to, or you can go directly to your boss, depending on how big the organisation is. If it's a big company, they should have a health and safety representative there, and you can go to them. If it's just a smaller business, it's usually the boss, whoever's in charge. Your managers are responsible for you, for your safety on the workplace. But yeah, don't always, if you've got any questions, just ask them. And if it doesn't get resolved, if you have any other questions, even as parents, talk to your parents, WorkSafeNewSouthWalesGovernment.com, newsouthwalesgovernment.au is a website that you can jump onto, and everything's pretty straightforward in layman's terms, where you can go to get help, get direction, get advice.
Courtney, have you had safety induction at your workplace? Have you had this kind of safety training at your workplace?
Safety training in your
No,
job?
I haven't yet.
No.
There's the first aid, but not about safety.
We had a small talk about first aid,
Mm-hmm.
and because we work with a lot of children, and there's kids who are
Yeah.
anaphylactic, so we have the procedure, we do like a fire evacuation on those kind of stuff.
Okay. So that is part of emergency training, and you should know who is a first aid trained person in the building, how to contact them in case something does go wrong, because you're not officially trained
Yeah.
to administer EpiPens or do anything like that. So yeah.
They have ambulance, emergency just too much to tell ago.
Oh yeah. They had an ambulance come because some kid hurt themselves when they're doing acrobatics.
Yeah.
So,
Yes. See, there are dangers out there, and there's a lot of things you go through over your lifetime in the workforce around safety, and it's very difficult. It's something you should pay attention to. All right. Well,
Yes.
thank you once again.